Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young Norevlle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norevlle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new week of the Young Norevlle Show, coming to you right here on Action Sports Jax. Terry Norevlle driving the ship. Let me turn up some volume here so I can hear myself a little bit better. 1 second. There we go. There we go, folks. Hope you're doing well. Another windy day out there as we welcome you in to a new week. A lot to cover, a lot of basketball, as you can imagine. We'll talk a ton of basketball. We hope to hear from Patrick Young at some point today on the program. Same with Brent Beard. A lot to cover. March Madness, the field is now set. Hellacious weekend of SEC basketball and a hell of a run Florida went on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll dive deep into that, matchups, things like that. Real quick, if you were trapped and just haven't been around today much, the Players playoff was kind of a dud a little bit. Lasted about 45 minutes, and Roy McIlroy got the best of the playoff and won his second player. So McIlroy takes a huge paycheck out. They couldn't quite finish it in 4 days, weather and things like that, but it took about 45 minutes, I guess, to play three additional holes. What'd they do? 16, 17, and 18, I guess it was. And Roy McIlroy, two big players. I heard on national radio driving in, he now, this is his second Players, and of course he is chasing, which a lot of players in their career have chased one of the majors, and in particular the Masters. So McIlroy chasing the Masters. He will go in pretty hot in several weeks to Augusta, and that would give him, if he can finally get a Masters, I think he would have a career Grand Slam. Roy McIlroy popping back up. Not the most star-studded field, leaderboard, I should say. Every time I kind of peeked at it over the weekend, but and then certainly the multiple hour delay took a little bit of the fastball out. But I will go back and reiterate, this past weekend, even with the rain on Sunday, windy conditions, this is why my personal preference is the tournament in March. I love the overlap of the tournament and postseason college basketball. I thought it was an absolute blast. Even yesterday. Yesterday was a lot of fun. Certainly the game of the day around here was the 1 o'clock tip, Florida and Tennessee in the SEC championship game. But to watch that, and I know there was a delay, but they got going again with the golf at about 5:15. I turned it back on and watched about 45 minutes of golf once they resumed, and then went straight to the selection show, the college basketball selection show. And I want to talk about that in a little bit. Really, really, really happy the way they produced the March Madness selection show last night. And I don't think I'm the only guy that noticed that. Historically, shows like that, college football, college basketball selection shows, who's playing who's going where, historically, hell, NFL draft, shows like that are normally absolutely painstakingly drug out long. Hey, they got on it. Yeah, I loved it, man. I don't know if you watched it live, but the selection show came on. Of course, they spent 2 or 3 minutes paying tribute to Greg Gumbel, who lost his battle with, I believe it was cancer. This was the second year in a row that Gumbel, who was the longtime host of the selection show, he was just getting sick last year, did not host, and then obviously had passed away. I think December of this past year, Gumbel had passed away. So the guys on the selection show, they welcomed me back. Who was it? Adam Zucker, I guess, and the team. They welcomed everybody in. They spent about 2 or 3 minutes talking about Greg Gumbel and reminiscing a little bit, which they should. And then they were off and running. I think Patrick's on. I'll have Patrick speak to that as we get going. Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing great, brother. How about yourself?
Man, what a fun weekend, wasn't it? Oh, my goodness. Oh, Patrick Young. I know you've got a lot of comments to make. Hey, I want to stay on the topic I was just on, though. I don't know if you watched the selection show live. What a great production. Pat, They didn't waste any time, man. They came on at 6 o'clock, paid tribute to Greg Gumbel, which they should have for 2 or 3 minutes. And, buddy, by about 6:05, you were looking at the South bracket. It was a great show last night. They got on it. They didn't waste and drag it out. And man, I love what they did last night. I hope you had a chance to see it.
Well, you know why they didn't drag it out? It's because they wanted to make up for the lost time in freaking basketball replays, dude. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Pat, talk about it. It's so bad now in college basketball.
And how many of – I just wish there was a way, like college football, where you have – or NFL now, where they have replay assists. Because some of the stuff, like, you could just have a guy say, hey, we're reviewing this play real quick. We'll get an answer soon. And then they – and also, like, I guess that would take some off the refs too, because you know, they're not 100% right on those calls.
No.
But yeah, it's every time a player gets hit in the face, inadvertent. Most of the time it's inadvertent. Every time, and some of the stuff, it's like, man, that was not. They would not call you a flagrant foul for that. Like it, you know, it is. There are a lot of plays, like obviously what Chad Baker-Mazar did.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, obviously to get him out of the game. But yeah, that kid, and yeah, you want to get it right. Who touched the ball before it went out of bounds? Like, is there not a way we can make that faster, Terry? Come on.
Yeah, Pat, you sent me a text, a frustrated text, several days ago about.
I did?
Yeah, yes, about replay basketball. They're killing the game, and I've said for years now, for months, certainly this season, that college basketball is getting the life choked out of it.
Yeah.
With these incessant number of replays. Pat, there were 2 games I watched back-to-back the other day, and it might have been a week ago, the final regular season. I think it might have been Saturday a week ago. And you had sent me, I think you were working in, I think you were in Charlotte, and you had sent me, God, another replay. Pat, I noted 2 down. I watched one game that 19-13 of the first half. Not even a minute in, they went to the replay. We were not even a minute in, Patrick. They went straight to the replay for something. The second instance, Pat, I looked real quick. The game was at the second game I was watching. It was at the 17-minute and 22-second, I think, here. And my math may be just a little off. It was 17-22. Whistles blow. The referees go to the monitor. So 18, 22, 19. So the game was like 2 minutes and 38 seconds old. Pat, they go to the monitor, and they must have taken about 4 minutes. So at that point, there was more replay time than game time.
Oh, my gosh, than game time.
Hey, why does the NBA not get choked off? They have replay, but they have only a limited number. They have a limited number, right?
Well, I think part of it is maybe with the NBA that they're like, I guess they do such a good job of accepting there's going to be so many insignificant plays that they're not going to get right. And
sure,
these games almost always come back down to the last 5 minutes or so. So, like, obviously replaying that point is good. And then you got challenges in the NBA. You get 2 challenges. So you can be very specific. Yeah. And obviously you win those challenges. You get them back. You're not deducted. So yeah, I mean, there's, you know, we love sports. You just hate the things that like make the sport not. It takes you away from the game. Stuff really that just keeps taking you away from the game.
And the 3 officials, I get it. They want to get it right, and they've got this tool called replay. And we're talking college now. Yeah, I'm back to college. The 3 officials, though, they've got to be a little more frugal with going with their call. I mean, they make a call and run to the replay sideline. I mean, at some point.
Oh, my gosh, do they ever.
Like you say, they just got to sometimes go with their calls. And if it's really flagrant, my God, it is choking. And we're not the only one. You hear the Jay Billises of the world. And I know you guys on set have talked about it. We're not the only ones. I think everybody understands that's probably, I think, college basketball offseason issue number 1 for the people that run college basketball. They've got to get a hand. It's really gotten bad, Patrick. Hasn't? I mean, we're not making too much out of this.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've been working with the network for 4 years now, and this is the first year. Like I would remember if the guys were complaining about this before, and it's like, no, we complained about the block charge call for a while. Like, what's a block? What's a charge? That's one thing we complained about. Maybe certain programs after games and coaches turning us down from interviews and like blah 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 like that. But when it comes to this is a new one. Yeah. Like it kills and we're in studio, and I don't want to complain about getting paid to watch sports and talk about it. Yeah. But when it's your job and you have to do it for such a long time, it's really like pulling teeth.
It is.
Of like you want to just get back to the action so you can talk about the game so the night can end so you can just move on. Do we just need to accept? And this reminds me, Terry. We bemoaned about this a little bit. And this was before college football season started when we found out about the 2-minute timeout. We're not going to use this as another means to advertise and the blah. No, it's not really a timeout.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hey, man, you just brought up something that reminded me. You're right, Patrick. It was only about 5 or 6 years ago college basketball could not seem to get the handle on the block charge. Remember, that was controversial. Block charge.
I know.
I don't know if the semicircle's done it or whatever, but block charge is not that big of a deal. And they've learned to work through that, right?
Yeah, I think they've done a better job of it. Because before it was like, I'm trying to think like in terms like how can you explain what is the best way? Because and look, I played professional. Like, and I thought growing up that the defensive player could not move their feet.
Yeah,
needed to be in legal guarding position. And the offensive player is trying to control this defender to get them out of the way. And now it's a little bit different. That defender can move their feet if this offensive player is still trying to go through their chest and whatnot. And you obviously you can't use that off arm, that your off arm that's not dribbling the ball as a player to push as well. In some calls you just scratch. There is a such thing. It hasn't happened in a long time, Terry, but a blarge.
Really?
A block and a charge called at the same time.
A blarge.
A blarge. It is a real basketball thing.
You just made that up.
I did not make it up. I didn't make it up. It's pointless because I don't get it. If it's a blarge, then either both players getting a foul or no player needs to get a foul. Like, hey, and I know, right? You learn something new from this guy every day, Terry. That's why you got to keep me. That's why you got to keep me around. That's why you got to keep me around. All right.
Hey, that reminds me of the Patrick. I've been calling for before I go to wherever I'm going to go at the end of the life. I still want to see a football call because I've seen them before, but the ref never calls it. I want to see a flag thrown and pass interference be called on both the offense and the defensive receiver cornerback. Because I see them both foul.
You're right.
Half the time it happens. Getting off the line, maybe there's a hold on the DB to keep that's a hold to keep him from getting off. And then as the play develops, the other way happens. But I've never seen double pass interference by the same official.
No, you haven't.
Hey, can you invent a play? Invent a name for that one, Patrick. You got to invent a name for
that. Double PI. No, it's got to have either some Latin. It's got to have some Latin in it or something like that. Because it makes. But no, that makes sense. Like like a guy like who's getting the most call. Travis Kelce was getting the most offensive PIs for a while, and just think, and Gronk, they run into a guy push off.
Yes.
So there's your PI there, and then say the guy comes back into play.
Yes.
Somehow, as the ball, he's trying to catch it,
And
grabs him and throws him down or something before it. Yeah, you can't tell me that hasn't happened before.
Yeah,
it just hasn't been called.
You never get a call. I'm gonna let you work on that name, Pat. All right, buddy. Hey, we got the first segment off and running. We got to come back and talk about what a run. Florida just ran roughshod over the conference in Nashville. You and I have been saying it, I know, for a good 6 weeks. Everybody now is catching up. Florida is the best team in the country. They are the best team in the country. Now, the best team doesn't always win the tournament, but certainly
the best team doesn't always win the tournament.
Certainly on a neutral court, they're clearly the best team. Let's talk about what a performance, man. The second half of Tennessee wasn't even that close. Man, that was impressive. Woo!
Well, it's just, and Jay Billis kept saying it. He said, the Tennessee is their guards are doing what they're supposed to do in this game. The bigs just could not match. They could not match with Condon, Houck, even Rubin, man. Hey, and I will say this because you're right. At the beginning of the year, I was not a big Rubin Tenue fan. My God, no, I didn't hate him. I just didn't think that I'm like, man, my man, how can my man not make a hook shot? Like he just looked so. Like little action figures you might have grown up with. They're all muscular and buff, and they're they can only move. They're very limited in the range of motion. I thought that was Rubin, and now he's turned to make that his game a little more fluid.
He's pretty nasty from 6 feet in. I mean, he can.
And they're still not even playing Sam Alexis. Like Sam Alexis, he's had some good minutes this year.
Yeah, I tell you, Pat, hang tight. Let's get deep into Florida and obviously the tournament. We've got the bracket. I've got thoughts on Florida. I'm sure you do, where they've been seated, where they went. The SEC. Let's talk about March Madness. Man, what a time of year. Patrick Young's around. I'm Terry Norevelle. Hang tight. We're going to give you everything you need to know about those guys right there, the Gators, the SEC, and March Madness on the other side. It's the Young Norevelle Show.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2. See that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Okay, let's jump right back into it. Basketball season has hit the fun part, really, really fun part. March Madness gets started. In essence, I call it Thursday. I know there are playing games. Good look there at the campus of the University of Florida. Boy, they are thinking basketball on that campus, Patrick Young. Man, I want you to just jump in with Florida. What a bludgeoning. I mean, Florida probably the most difficult game they had over the run to the title was Missouri. Pat, and I think we still have Pat. You there? Oh, we may have lost Pat. Wanted him to jump in. But if you think about it, Florida, they open up with Missouri Friday. Alabama and Tennessee, the two highly ranked teams, along with Auburn, not named Florida. Those two games, Florida versus Alabama and Florida versus Tennessee, really had the same kind of blueprint. Both teams went at it pretty good in the first half. Tennessee and Alabama had leads. I know Alabama at one point was up 12-6. First half was pretty evenly matched. Florida starts getting a little space late in the half, particularly Tennessee, where they hit a big three at the end to go up 9. But the second half was really the same game. Florida and their big men slowly just bludgeoned. Alabama in the second half, and really the same thing against Tennessee. They just
I'm back, my guy.
Hey, buddy. Pat's back
Sorry,
here.
but Mama Young called. You know.
Oh yeah, I know how that is, man. I know. Hey, we were talking about. You look at Florida and that run, that 3-game run. Patrick, Missouri gave them the best game. I thought Florida beat up Alabama and beat up Tennessee. Didn't you think Missouri played the best game?
You're right. Missouri did play them the best, and maybe that's more so because Missouri just knew how best to defend them and play them. Yeah, and they didn't have Mark Mitchell. They didn't. Their big guy. He definitely would have gave them some more issues. Yeah. But they did such a great job. Like Caleb Grill, he hit 2 shots from the logo, 2 3-pointers from the logo. They got some help from him and another kid whose name I can't remember, but gosh. Did they ever – it was close. It was a 1-point lead against Alabama at half, 43-42 or something like that. And then just them losing Grant Nelson really showed that if Florida – if you have a team and you're matched up and you don't have at least 3 bigs – yeah. If you don't have at least 3 bigs, you are in freaking trouble.
Yes, you are.
Hey, Tennessee had to play a kid. They had to play a kid that barely ever even played this whole season because of fouls.
Yeah, well, they fouled 1 out and 2 more with 4, and they were 3 of
their guys fouled out.
Yeah, 3. Yeah. Okay, 3 of them fouled out. Wow, they were scuffling. Real quick, well, I want to stay on Florida, obviously, but Alabama, and they could make a deep run. They're good. They can't keep giving up 90 to 100 points a game. I mean, that's just too. They've given up 90 or more, I think, like 10 times this year. And I know they score a bunch. I know they make the game score, but you can't you can't always win like that, can you? Score.
Well, it's almost that's almost glad you say that. that's what has made Florida a completely different team than last year. They were like in the top. They were like 90th, somewhere between 90th and 100th in defensive efficiency last year. Had a top 10 offense last year, but now they're top 5 and top 10 in defense. I think they're number 9 or something, or maybe it might even be better than that. It goes to show you have to be able to defend. It, like, this is not the NBA. Like, that 3-and-D stuff, it works out. You got the right guys. You're going to win games, but you got to have the D. You got to have the defense.
Patrick, after it played out, the Gators win the SEC championship. Well, you like me, I thought they would create. I think they're the best team in the country. I think the eyeball test, if you gave number 1 seeds on the eyeball test, I think they should be the number 1 of 1. That's my opinion. I did think that run in Nashville was going to bump them up at least to the 3, and they didn't get the 3.
At least to the 3. Yeah. At least to. So it's dumb. Like, those games meant nothing then in that case.
Yeah, you wonder if Florida had lost one of those games, how far would they have fallen? They wouldn't have kept 1.
Yeah. I said this. I was on SEC with Doring and Peter Burns this morning, and I think partially, Auburn did have 16 quad 1 wins, but 2 weekends ago, or maybe even 2 weekends ago, he's like, Auburn could forfeit and still be the rest of their games and still be the overall
I remember hearing
that.
Seed. I remember hearing that.
And I'm like, at that point in time, and this is before, I think they ended up losing 3 out of 4 or whatever it is, 4 out of 5, whatever it is. It was before that. They have not finished strong as a championship team. This is not the time that you want to have, like, if you're going to have a losing streak at any point in the season, this was not the right time to have it. I thought, look, and this is we talked about this a few weeks ago. Duke did what they're supposed to do in a weak league. They didn't have a single ranked upon ranked game in the conference.
Isn't that amazing?
Florida,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, when Clemson beat them, Clemson was not ranked, so they had not.
Right.
And then the Clemson team they played the other day might have barely been ranked, but before that, the last ranked team was like December 4th, Auburn.
It's wild. And they were at home on that game. I thought they would have at least jumped. And Houston, in the Big 12, I think probably just because the Big 12's not as good. Kansas isn't good this year. They're a tournament team, but they're not a championship team.
Yeah, they're not great.
I think that's what's made it kind of like, I haven't watched a lot of Houston. I know they're good. They're always good defensively and whatnot, but they are not Florida.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to throw this out too, and I haven't heard any. Your schedule is your schedule. I get it. Here's another benefit, and this just kind of played out to Auburn's favor this year. And Pat, you can help me with this. I think I've got this right. The NCAA allows, if your school, if your program so chooses, the NCAA allows you to play one out of the United States tournament every 4 years. You can go. I
believe you're correct.
Yeah, you can go to the Bahamas and play that. You can go to Maui. You can go, or you can use it, I think, for a European preseason trip. You can go. But they only allow you to do that once every 4 years. How about this for Auburn? And they had 16 good wins. This was a year Auburn went and played in Maui.
They won, and they dominated.
They won it. They beat Iowa State, Memphis, and North Carolina. I don't know the order. I think Memphis they won the tournament on. But where I'm going with this, Patrick, if they had not gone and exercised their 1 out of 4 go out of the country and played, North Carolina knows not great. They're a tournament team. Those are 3 tournament teams that they got to play. If they didn't go,
I don't know how North Carolina made the tournament. I have no idea.
Let me finish this though. If this wasn't one of those years where Auburn exercised their right to go out of country and play in a tournament, those 3 games, Iowa State, Memphis, 2 really nice wins, by the way, on neutral court, and North Carolina still ranked. Those games on Auburn's schedule could have been Southern Miss, East Carolina, and Texas San Antonio. They went out and found those. So that helped too. they went out and found 3 more games, right? Does that make sense? They went out and found 3 more
makes
games.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure does.
What do you think? Here's my thought on Florida, and I'm going to hand it off to you, and I want you to go with it. I do think they were underseeded as the 4th 1 seed. I think that was wrong. I wasn't happy about that. But I think there's a silver lining. I absolutely love where they're at in terms of the other
same.
I absolutely – so there was a yin to the yang there, or a silver lining. I love where they're at and who they're potentially going to play all the way to the Final Four if they win that far. Patrick, I'm disappointed they got the 4 number 1 seed, but I'm very happy with their draw. What are your thoughts?
I think it's I'm watching my reaction as they get the 1 in the West, and then it was just like, okay, they got Norfolk State. We played them my junior year. We played Norfolk State, and then they got UConn. In the tournament. Then potentially they got UConn next after that. So I'm like, man, memories. Like, oh man, my memory of last time I played UConn, we lost. So that's definitely gonna get brought up. It's gonna get brought up for sure. Someone's gonna ask me about it and talk about it, and you never get to live it down, Terry. You never get to live it down. But
I told you a month ago.
I'm happy for him.
I said, Patrick Young, be ready. Your phone's gonna start ringing. Remember, I told you a month ago.
Yeah.
Especially, number one, if they match up with UConn, second round. Especially if Florida makes the Final Four. Because everybody in America is going to go, they're going to say, oh, my God, Florida, when's the last time? Oh, that was the Pat Young team. Boom. You're going to be busy, my man. If Florida makes a deep run and gets to the Final Four, you're going to be busy. You're going to be busy.
Oh, yeah. I'm okay with that.
Good.
I am okay with that.
It's your brand, Patrick. Your brand is what you're hey, you said UConn, though. That's an 8-9. Oklahoma. UConn's been a mess this year. I mean, there's no guarantee they beat Oklahoma. That's a 9-8, 8-9, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. They've bounced around here a little bit, and they've gotten so much favor. Dan Hurley he wears me out so much. It was an article on ESPN. I didn't even want to read it, man. I'm sure, and it probably would have gave some good stuff. He rubs me so wrong. I can't even read his stuff, man.
I know what you mean. Do you realize we've talked about for about a month now going into this tournament? I was saying, well, if they get this huge number in the SEC, which they did, they got 14, you're going to end up just by mathematics alone, unless everybody lost their first round game, you're going to have the SEC cannibalizing itself. And I've told you, I think there's going to be 2 or 3 at least where SEC knocks out SEC. Do you realize? It would only take one. It would only take one win each for Florida and Oklahoma. They'd meet the second round, knock somebody out out of the gate. You know.
Yeah, I don't think Oklahoma's not good enough to make it to beat UConn. I'm really surprised. Like honestly, Oklahoma making the tournament. But anyways, I'm looking forward to that. Like when is there going to be the first SEC upon SEC matchup?
How about?
I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you this question too, Terry. I want to ask you this. The SEC, like I was asked this morning, what does success look like in terms of everything with the SEC? For the SEC, what does a successful conference, this whole, because obviously in football this year, Patrick.
They gotta win it.
Talking so much crap, and then now we're like the Big Ten. The Big Ten seems to be one of the best, if not the best league.
Yeah.
So what is there were 3 teams in my last year, 3 teams in: Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee. Kentucky and Florida made it to the Final Four. That is very successful. Kentucky lost in the championship game. 14 teams in now, Terry.
Gotta win.
What does success look like?
I think somebody's got to win it. I don't care what the final record is. One of the big 4 or 5's got to go win this damn thing. I think. But Patrick, and the reason I'll say that. It
got to make the championship game.
It wasn't just SEC fan crowing mid-season on, hey, this is the best ever. That's the national narrative. It's not just a bunch of SEC lovers. Let me tell you something. This is the best conference in the history of basketball, college basketball. Man, Patrick, I think they almost got to win it. One of those teams has got to win it. Now, what does happen but what happens if, as you said, what happens if Florida makes it to the championship game and they lose a heartbreaker to Duke or Auburn to, I get that. I get that. You almost got to win it, though. You almost got to win it, I think, with this much hype they've had as a conference.
So, with this much hype, we're, all the things that are being said, best season ever, best conference ever, all this blah, blah, blah. You got Florida can win it. Alabama can win it. Auburn can win it. Tennessee is good enough to win it. Yeah, I don't want to say it, just for the sake of the credibility of the SEC, if you don't have at minimum an SEC team in the championship game.
Yeah, probably.
Then it I think it is. I want to say win it, but I just know how hard it is, man.
Hey, I could live with that.
One game.
I could live.
You can live with that.
If you get a team in the Monday, April 7th, you got a team tipping it off. Maybe you could digest and say, because you know me, my saying, it's hard to win championships. It's hard. But my goodness, they got to get to at least there, don't they? They got to get at least there.
How are you feeling about just like my first reaction? Really, one of my first thoughts was, gosh, after they won the championship and saw that they're going to win the SEC tournament, can we get this team back for one more? Can we get this team back for one more year?
I haven't even thought. Even thought. Well, some guys would.
We got a completely different man. Condon. It is so hard for me to believe that Alex Condon is coming back, but he loves the Gators so much.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that if he comes back, he's my pick for player of the year, early preseason pick.
Well, I know
Patrick, the guards, man.
Patrick, and I know we're way ahead. We got March Madness to talk, but we're way ahead of ourselves. But I know Todd Golden will go out and bring in some more talent. He has shown a propensity. He's really good at that. He's really good at the portal. With that said, though, how about the handful of guys we know are coming back? I'm fine. Houck is going to come back. Big Rue's coming back, right? Big Rue's coming back.
Big Ruben's coming back. Absolutely.
I am fine with Aberdeen playing point or two. Aberdeen's a scorer. I'm fine with him. I think the little Klavjar guy, a little more time, quit turning the ball a little bit. I could live with Klavjar at the 1, Aberdeen at the 2. You got Houck, you got Big Ruben. You got a pretty good base. And the guys are going to lose. They're going to lose Clayton.
Oh, yeah.
They got to lose Richard, and they got to lose Martin. But, there's a pretty decent base there, I think. You don't think
Oh,
so?
yeah. No, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think this team going into next year has a great foundation of kind of what you want in this stage. You're going to have some veteran guys, some continuity, and then hopefully – coach is going to be able to replace those 3 guys with 3 aggressive scoring guards again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't foresee this team not being really good again next year. If Alex Condon comes back, man.
Yeah.
Hey, and we might get Olivier Roux.
Yeah, I wonder what happens with him. I've also enjoyed this. This is a fun team. I don't care if you're a Gator or not. If you don't enjoy watching this team play, even if you're a rival, they're fun. That was how the Joe Kim team and all they were fun. People, Joe Kim got under people's nerves a little bit, but people liked that Florida team. That team was fun, the back-to-back team. I will say this, Pat. This needs to get a little more play. I think we have watched, particularly this entire season. We have watched. Todd Golden has matured now into, I think, he's about to be considered one of the upper echelon coaches. I think he handles in-game situations really nice. He also, Todd Golden handles the officiating crew well. I think he's got a good feel for when to crawl some ass, when to not. Yep. And also, last thing, and I'm going to turn it over to you about Todd Golden. He's done it now 3 years in the SEC. He's got like 6 or 7 under his belt. It's almost like when you look at the officiating crew, he's been accepted now. This guy's a legitimate coach. You can kind of see that. I think we've watched him mature into a big-time coach this year right in front of our eyes. What are your thoughts?
And how many technical fouls has he gotten in his 3 years?
Many. Not many, but he's got a real feel, and he's done some nice. Now, I want to give his staff probably helped out a lot, but he's made there were 4 or 5 times he's made strategic decisions, or his staff. They went to that 3/4 court trap against South Carolina. Man. They've done a couple. Remember that? Out of nowhere.
Oh, I remember that like yesterday.
And they were probably going to lose that game.
They were going to lose if they didn't. Will Richard, that was the start of him turning into a demon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. But Todd Golden, man, it's been fun to watch him. Pat, if you're Bruce Pearl, in your inner recesses of your mind, are you concerned? Has Auburn ran out of gas? Or have they lost the edge? Or is none of the above and they're just ready for postseason play? They look different. They don't look as dominant as they did 4 weeks ago.
A&M got him. Ole Miss got him. Tennessee and Bama. Oh yeah, that's right. Those all. Janai Broome didn't play good in 2 of them.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
They just haven't been shooting out as well.
They seem to have lost an edge or something. I don't know. I can't put my I can't put my finger on what it is.
I bet them losing at home on senior night at the buzzer.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty demoralizing.
Yeah. Conversely, it feels like Tennessee's got a second breath of fresh air. I remember they were kind of where Auburn is at right now. Tennessee kind of hit the mud a little bit early February. Remember they kind of hit the mud a little bit. Now they look like they got a little.
They were
fresh
a little
air.
stagnant. Yeah, they had a game where they went like 5 of 44 from the 3-point line.
Yeah. Ooh, that'll hurt. They shot it well yesterday. Now, that kept them from getting blown out by 30. They shot it well.
That kid Jordan Gainey, man,
he was tough.
They needed him to play like that the whole season, and he's been pretty up and down.
Yeah.
And then, I'm so curious if Jonas Adu wouldn't have transferred and stayed at Tennessee. Because he made a big jump last year.
Another big for them.
I wonder how much better that team would be.
Yeah, definitely another big for them. And Alabama, provided Grant Nelson is 100% ready to go, they're still a threat, I think. I think they're still a threat. Yeah. I mean, Sears could carry them. By the way, Alabama, Vanderbilt, that's another situation. All it takes is Alabama getting by Robert Morris, which they will. Vanderbilt would have to spring a small upset. Vandy's a 10 over St. Mary's a 7. If Vanderbilt and Alabama win their first game, they play round 2. That's another one. Right out of the gate, they'd be cannibalizing each other. How about that?
Yep, they sure would. Man, Vandy, and they've fallen off a little bit their last
part
of the season.
A little bit. They ran out of gas a little bit.
Comparatively to Jerry Stackhouse the last few years, Mark Byington has done a great job with this with Vandy.
I agree, Patrick. How about and I'm gonna pick at Georgia again, and we always pick at Georgia. We both everybody likes Mike White, but how about the coaching match? Not the team matchups. How about Georgia 9 seed? They open up with 8 seed Gonzaga. How about that coaching matchup? That's a slaughter. Mark Few against Mike White. Sorry to be mean,
the Zags aren't great.
No.
But, in terms of the teams they've had the last few years, but they're still pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
I would love for Mike White to get one tournament win at Georgia.
Yeah.
If he gets a tournament win, he'll sign a 10-year extension.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Pat, can you hang around one more segment, or you need to get out of here?
I can hang around, man.
Okay, yeah. Let's keep you around one more segment. Get us to the top of the hour. We'll bounce around some other things. I don't know if you've got a bracket in front of you. I've got mine here. Things that stand out, potential matchups, things like that. Kind of what we've been doing. We'll come back, talk more March Madness. It is a good time. I guess does it start Tuesday? Yeah, I guess Tuesday. All those first fours, and then they get time.
Yep.
They get time to travel. The winners, right? They'd have to have a couple days to travel. I hate this whole first four thing. You got 64, you got 68, whatever, man.
Well, the only evidence they have of it being good or useful, UCLA was an 11 seed a few years ago, made it to the Final Four or in the play-in game.
I remember that team. That was a fun team. They had the little guard with the dreads.
With the crazy hair.
Yeah,
yes.
It was good. Tiger something. A little name Tiger something. Remember?
Man,
Tiger something.
Some of these guys, their hair looks so awful, and we're allowed to say that. You're allowed to say that, Terry. It's fair.
I'm with you. All right. Some guys got bad lettuce, man. I'm just telling you, they got bad lettuce.
Oh, they have good hair. It's just the way they decide to wear it is awful. The mullet has come back.
Nice. Says who? Says who?
I've seen a lot of little kids wearing them.
The skullet,
and some grown men.
The skullet, the mullet,
the
Kentucky waterfall, the Mississippi mud flap.
The mud flap, the mud slap, all that stuff.
Oh, Patrick, let's take a break. Come back, and we'll bounce around things that we're interested in with the bracket. And, Pat, unless you want to organize it, I'm not doing us a bracket, man. It's too much work. Too much work. But ESPN makes it easy.
If we do it virtually.
Yeah, ESPN makes it easy.
Work.
Yeah, ESPN does make it pretty easy.
Yeah, but we don't need paper brackets and someone calculating all that stuff. No. I'm surprised. Come on, what we got to talk to Brent.
Yeah, he's next.
Why do we not have a show versus show tournament?
Oh, Martineau. Yeah. Now, this would be easy to do because they keep your own scores and all. But, man, I don't want to be the secretary.
I don't want to give Brent Martineau more work. He works enough, man.
I agree with that. But when we were trying to do show versus show, everybody here and getting the picks in, and we had to I had to keep up. Too much work. Too much work. I'm lazy. All right, Pat, stay where you're at. We'll talk some issues, some things we see in the bracket that we hope will or will not happen. Talking college basketball, of course, with Patrick Young on the other side. It's the Young Norevlle Show right here on Action Sports Jacks.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream YouTube channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Oh, there's a shot of the now finished Players Championship for 2025. Rory McIlroy won a 3-hole playoff, and he
finally.
Yeah, I know. 4 days didn't do it. It took an extra 45 minutes. But boy, what did he walk out of here with? $4.5 million or something like that. 4 or 5.
Oh wow.
For 4.5 days of work. That's pretty nice. Pat Young, Terry Norvelle. We'll have Brent Beard at the top of the hour. Pat, want to bounce around a couple more things with the Sweet 16. With March Madness. We'll do it, obviously, over the next 3 weeks. This will never happen, but somebody ran the numbers, speaking of the SEC, with 14 teams in the field. If every game went the SEC's way, and that'll never happen, I'm just having fun. Do you realize the way it's configured? Somebody did this. The SEC could have 9 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
I mean, that's a big part of success as well, and dominance. I don't think that's necessary to, with what you said. Someone's got to win it, but that is definitely super complimentary on top of someone winning the championship from the league.
There's another interesting situation. We've talked about the potential cannibalism games. Texas plays a play-in game with Xavier. Texas, if they won that, they then would have to beat Illinois, which would be a tall chore. But if they won that, they'd play Kentucky. Do you realize Kentucky and Tennessee, they're both positioned, if they both open up 2-0, they meet. Yeah,
oh, wow.
In the Sweet 16.
I love that.
Like we said, Vanderbilt, Alabama would play would have to win 1 each to meet. Florida, Oklahoma would have to win 1 each. Pat, I didn't give you a lot of time, and I think you've probably looked at the West where Florida's at. I absolutely love Florida's draw coming out of the West. I mean,
you do?
It's hard to get out. I get it. It's hard to get to the Final Four. But, my God, I love their potential matchups in this thing. I wouldn't want to see Missouri. I'd love somebody to knock Missouri out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play them again.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of people are fearful because he's a great coach in the tournament. Rick Pitino's down at the bottom.
Rick Pitino.
Yeah, he's down there with
Rick
a 30.
Pitino, man.
A 30. Hey, how about this? I brought this up a couple times. How does the Gator basketball fortune change the last 2 years if Walter Clayton had followed Pitino? Remember, Clayton played for Pitino at Iona, and Pitino went from Iona to St. John's a couple years ago. How about that?
It'd be somebody else in his role, or maybe Denzel Aberdeen would. He'd step in and he'd be the starter, which still be a good team. But Walter is just, his confidence is through the roof, is it not? Ice water, man.
He is ice water.
Like I think it's going in every time. There's a few shots where I'm like, I ain't gonna make that one, but there's some where I'm like, goodness gracious, the ball's going in. Whoop, bang.
He took one crazy shot yesterday, and the commentator said something about, Todd Golden is letting, and the game was still going on. They said Golden's letting him know, but he rarely takes. I'm with you. I think every shot's going in. Hey, Pat, this is a little spinoff. I don't know if did you see where North Carolina State fired Kevin Keatts, and they went to the Final Four last year. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know. You know, he was kind of on the hot seat last year.
I agree.
And I think he what's the word? Activated some incentives by making it to the Final Four and all that.
Yes.
Or Elite Eight, something he did, and you would think, man, it's just so hard to rebuild. I guess. If you don't have the funding, because coming off a Final Four, you would think they're going to get some guys in and turn it over, but no. I mean, they weren't having a great year until they had to win the ACC tournament.
Well, you're ahead of me. You're ahead of me because when that came out about a week ago, you're ahead of me. I was so curious. I looked into it. I kind of got on the computer, and you hit it. The last, before last year, he took an 11 seed. They barely got in the tournament. Had to win 9 games in a row just to get in the tournament. And they went to the Final Four, and you go, whoa, okay, that guy just bought him 5 years. Well, the word is the previous 4 or 5 years, they've been terrible. So basically, it looks like the administration looked at the body of work and said, hey, man, that Final Four was a fluke. I mean, that was a fluke. And, they let him go. They fired. And there was no off-court shenanigans or anything. It was just, hey, man, the administration looked up and said, man, the Final Four is great, but that was a fluke. We shouldn't even been in it probably, and we've had bad. I just thought it was interesting, really interesting. Pat, do you have a non-SEC? I mean, everybody's pointing to Duke. If you had to pick non-SEC to win the damn thing, are you kind of chalk with Duke like everybody else? Houston, I'm not.
Good. They are good. They are really good. I don't know. I'm just because their body of work in the ACC, they weren't challenged too much there. That's kind of, but they are super. Yeah, I think it's going to bite them. If they run to Florida, they're going to lose to Florida. I think if they run to Auburn again, they lose to them as well. I think just teams that have a little bit more depth and really talented guards, it's not going to be a cakewalk. And and part of it probably is me, I don't love Duke in general, but I think it's legit. I think it's legitimate concerns or I think it's a legitimate opinion.
Another non-SEC school that is very highly seeded. I'm not fearful like I have been over years with Michigan State. I know Izzo is also a good coach. But they're a 2 seed.
Yeah.
They don't worry me as much.
They've been playing well, man.
They have. Did they end up winning that, or Wisconsin win that? I think Wisconsin ended up winning the Big Ten.
No. Michigan won.
Michigan got it. That's right. Michigan beat Wisconsin.
Michigan beat Wisconsin. Yep. Trey Donaldson hit a layup. Auburn transfer. Trey Donaldson.
I've forgotten about that guy. I hadn't heard. Wow. I'm like you. I haven't seen Houston play a lot at one time. I've caught a lot of their chunks of games. But if you've seen Kelvin Sampson in Houston, including they went to the Final Four a couple of years ago, didn't they?
I've seen them the last few years. I've watched a little bit more of them the last few years.
And they're the same team. Team.
They're the same kind of team. Yeah, they're probably one of the most disciplined defensive teams you're going to find in college basketball. He really gets those guys to do all the little things in terms of where to be in position to help, ending your possession with rebounds, not fouling too much. That up to that line of physicality before it's a foul, which is what Florida was playing with on Sunday. They're right there, just offensively. And they've only had, I think, 3 losses. I know 2 of them. Two of them, and you said this, Auburn and Bama were two of their losses.
Houston's 30-4. 30-4. Houston reminds me, they play let me back up with Houston. They're another team. There's not a bunch of coaches, in my opinion, that can really help your team win games. Kelvin Sampson's one. We talked about Patino's one. Izzo's one. I think Todd Golden's turning into that guy. Kelvin Sampson, I don't like him. I think he's a used car salesman, but he knows basketball. He really does.
Really?
Houston, they're very athletic. They play defense. They remind me a lot of Tennessee, and they're 1-2. If everything holds, they would play. That'd be a hell of a game. Very athletic teams.
Yeah.
Play a lot of defense.
Oh, that'd be a great one. I think that game would probably be you said they would play Tennessee?
Tennessee's the 2 in their bracket, in their region.
Okay. That'd be that game might make the 70s. I think that'll be a game in the 60s.
How about
it might make the 70s.
We keep going back to Florida before we get you out of here. as good as Tennessee plays defense, God dang, what Florida threw up 87 on them. That was just an ungodly number for Tennessee to give up.
Yeah.
87. They threw.
87. You mean the championship game, right?
Yeah. Yesterday. Didn't they score like 87 points?
104.
No. That was the Alabama game.
Was that Bama?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
But they still threw up 87,
gotcha.
And I think I heard Tennessee's only given up 80 or more like twice all year. Florida goes out and gets 87, ho-hum. They also made their free throws. They made a lot of free throws yesterday.
Yeah, they did a great job at the free throw line. Fantastic. Yeah, it was great. That was the bane of for our existence for the last.
Yeah.
I mean, even counting Coach Golden's, it wasn't great last year, but his first year and then all of Mike White's years, they struggled at the free throw line terribly.
So if you look, Pat, and we'll let you out of here at the top of the hour. If you look, and this is crying over spilt milk, if you look at Florida's season, the Gators now are also 30-4. Okay. You know what? There's one game that had the outcome been different, and it should have been. Florida would have easily been the one of one because they would have won the SEC regular season. You know what cost Florida? The Georgia loss.
Georgia game, yeah.
You know, Georgia made the tournament. They hadn't been ranked all year, basically. You can live with Missouri. Missouri turned out to be a legitimate top 15 team. That's one of Florida's losses. Tennessee's Tennessee, right? And their other loss was I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Florida's lost 4. They lost to
who was it?
Missouri. Tennessee beat them.
Tennessee.
They split with Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah, split with Tennessee. Yep.
Had Florida won the Georgia game, which they should have, they would have had the same conference record as Auburn, but Florida would have won the tiebreaker. 3 losses, but Florida. So they'd have been the one. They'd have been the one of one probably. Georgia may have cost
one of one.
Florida, but I love.
I don't know, man. They still, if they won the league, if they won the regular season, then it's no doubt. I think that's something. And you know, Damian and I didn't make a projection. I think I said 14 wins was going to win.
Yeah.
The league, but this year, 15. Like they Auburn exceeded expectations there, so I think they deserved it. 16 quad one wins. But to your point, should Florida be the 4th 1 seed? Absolutely not.
No, they should be higher than that. Patrick, we leave you with this, or you leave us with this. Damian Fishback, your partner there on the set at SEC Network. Boy, he has been a Florida cheerleader all year. He loves the Gators.
Yep.
Is he doing that to kind of, around his elbow to get to his nose? Is he trying to he doesn't want to. Does he really like Florida like that?
I think so. I mean, even when the TV's off, and we are talking, he really believes in it. He really believes in this team, and obviously you want to be in this line of work and seen as, even though you played at a certain school, that you're objective, and he hasn't never taken anything away from how good Auburn is, but it's something I predicted Florida to finish 3rd when I got to do my vote. And I wish, obviously I wish I would have went higher, but I think they were projected like 5 or 6 by everyone that had a vote in. And I think all the guys do a really good job. They cheer for their teams,
Sure.
Like more so Ron Slay. Ron Slay is the biggest fan of his team, his school.
But man, he
believes in Florida too, man.
Yeah, he liked them a lot last night. He really did. All right, Pat, good hour, man. Good stuff. We'll do it for a long time. Basketball is here. Have a good rest of your day. We'll visit as we go. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Buddy Patrick Young. As we go to break, real quick, a little programming note. It looks like a week from tomorrow, Florida State baseball is in Jacksonville at the baseball grounds. A week from tomorrow, March 25th. Looks like we're going to do our show across the street, the bar at the arena across the street. So start making plans if you're going over there. Come by, say hi. Hopefully Pat will be with us, and then we'll just kind of scoot over to the baseball game. But we'll keep you updated on that all week going into next Tuesday, Florida State baseball. We'll keep you updated on that. All right, let's take a break. Brent Beard on deck, ready to go. He's got some opinions, some thoughts on everything that we've kicked around in the first hour. Don't go anywhere. More Young and Norevelle after this quick timeout. Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
If you haven't heard, as we take a look at the helmets at the College Football Hall of Fame, if you haven't heard today, the Players' Championship wrapped up with the 3-hole playoff. McElroy got by Spahn and has won his second Players, has Roy McElroy. Gosh darn, that's about, what, 4, 8, 9, close to $10 million he's won on 2 wins here on the First Coast. So I think both of them are like 4.5 he's won. As we welcome our buddy Brent Beard kicking off hour number 2. I want to thank Patrick Young for giving us that first hour. Certainly, Brent, we not a lot of NFL stuff going on, so we're not really ignoring the Jaguars. A few signings here and there, but man, it's basketball, hot and heavy. Baseball's getting going. Where do we start, Brent? I mean, let's start in Nashville, I guess. Were any of us? Nobody was surprised Florida won the SEC men's basketball tournament. I think I was surprised that they bludgeoned really Tennessee and Alabama. I thought Missouri played them better than Alabama and Tennessee. I didn't see Florida just second half walking the dog on Tennessee and Alabama. The way they won the tournament surprised me a little bit.
Well, frankly, Florida's the best team in the nation. It should be the number 1 seed.
I'm with you.
Now, I get why they've got Auburn the number 1 seed, because they've got 16 quad 1 wins, and that was in their hip pocket the whole time. But you can't convince me that anyone's playing better right now than Florida. Michigan State's not, Houston's not, Duke's not.
No.
So Florida right now is the total package, and we're seeing that from Las Vegas, and we're seeing it from everywhere else. But I mean, Terry, the reality is that they played who they wanted to play off the bench. They basically emptied the bench, and they did what they wanted to do, and frankly, probably come out of the tournament not even real. I mean, I know you got to be a little bit winded, but comparatively, when you play so many players and go that deep, everybody's pretty fresh.
I told you that that Thursday night, the eve of Florida's opening game on Friday, they had Todd Golden, sideline reporter, interviewed Todd Golden, and he was there with his kids, and he was kind of scouting and having fun with his 2 boys. And you can kind of tell. We've been around this a long time. You can kind of tell when a coach is speaking and they're telling the truth, and a lot of times they don't say much at all. Todd Golden has been consistent. He said to Molly McGrath, he said, she's basically saying, what's your plan? The big dance is after this, and, are you idling down? Are you idling up? Are you experimenting? So we're here to win this damn thing. He said he was here to win. And I'll tell you, he's been refreshing. Todd Golden's quotes, he had and I'm paraphrasing, he got talking about after winning the championship yesterday. He got talking and being asked about March Madness, and he said, basically, if we play our game, we're the best team in the country. We should win. I mean, he and coaches don't say any. His comments aren't coming off cocky.
Right.
There's a difference, because we're the best team. We'll kick everybody's ass to hell with them. I mean, his comments are coming off thoughtful and legitimate and not chasing headlines. It's been refreshing to hear him all year really just talk and tell you what he believes.
He's able to back it up. I'm guessing you probably noticed on the sidelines, there are times when they're in the timeout, he doesn't say much. He lets his assistants basically run the huddle. In that, which I think is kind of refreshing at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, look, this is not get on Auburn Day, but the reason I said Florida, there's 2 things here. Florida, number 1, deserves the top seed. Florida, number 2, is because Terry, Auburn's lost 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
And look, when you lose 3 out of 4, I get the conference. I get it's a buzzsaw. But you've got some issues when you do that.
I told Pat and I brought up Auburn with Pat, and I want to bring him up with you. It seems like they've lost their edge or something. They're not the same Auburn 4 or 5 weeks ago. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but they seems like they've lost their edge a little bit. Can they get it back? Did they get lazy? I don't know, but that edge isn't there right now for Auburn.
It's not. It really isn't. And basketball people would tell you right now, Auburn peaked a few weeks ago.
They might have.
And look, this is it's a tough thing to do, not to peak and then to try to get it back. Now they obviously have got enough teams coming up where they can do that, and they can play on 4 cylinders instead of 6 cylinders and still be able to reach the Sweet 16. But that's not the case of Florida. But Florida's the Ferrari, and it's going down the street, and it's not missing a beat, and basically running over everything it comes in contact with.
I wanted Florida to get a better, a higher 1 seed. More than anything, it's just neat, and it's proud. And for a program trying to build, it would have been neat. It really, in the grand scheme of things, I guess it didn't matter. But I will say this. I was disappointed when they got the 4th number 1 seed. The flip side of that, I absolutely love their draw in their West region. Right. I love it. I know if you dig around a lot, you can find an expert, quote unquote, to support you or go against you. I think Ken Palm said, "Oh, the West is the toughest." I don't think so at all. I love Florida's West bracket. They're trying to come out of.
Well, and look, Terry, they'll beat Norfolk State, and then they've got probably UConn that will beat a schizophrenic Oklahoma team.
Sure.
I give Oklahoma credit for being in there, but besides Hurley throwing a 5-year-old tantrum on the sidelines, they're not who they were the last 2 years. UConn certainly is not. And then you've got, Florida can beat Memphis.
Absolutely.
Florida can beat Maryland.
Yeah.
Florida may get into.
I tell you, the team I would hate for them to match up with is Missouri.
Yes.
Missouri scares me.
Yes.
Missouri played Florida much better than Tennessee or Alabama over the weekend.
They really did. Now, I'm not sure, Terry, frankly. I think Missouri would beat Drake. Missouri they could lose to Texas Tech.
Texas Tech could take them out. They're good. They're seasoned.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty good. Hey, staying with that half, staying with Florida's West, but the bottom half of the West, you've got Kansas and Arkansas, and then that winner would play St. John's most likely. They play Omaha. And some of your national guys were talking about, wow, that is a Mount Rushmore of coaches. You've got Calipari, Self, and Pitino. If I'm Rick Pitino, I'd go, hey, don't throw me in with those two guys. From a coach, I've never thought Calipari can coach his way out of a wet paper sack.
Yeah.
Or same with Bill Self. I think that they've bludgeoned people with talent over the years. I don't think either one. I think Rick Pitino can coach. I think he knows what the hell he's doing, and he can win you a play and he can win you a game. But no, I chuckled at that. I'm like, man, you guys are just going off of headlines and championships.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, look, and to your point, Rick Pitino. Look, I just can't get past this. When you've taken 6 different teams to the NCAA tournament, listen, you absolutely know what you can do. Now, okay, let me throw this out at you. He's in his 70s. I can tell you right now, Terry, there may have to be a kumbaya with Greg Sankey for this to happen. But if you're looking for a coach at the end of the year, Terry, wouldn't you talk to him?
Yeah.
Look, I guarantee you, he's probably, look, Rick's, is he 75 or 72 or something like that? I'm not, Terry, I'm not sure Pitino can coach another 5 years.
Yeah.
If you're, if Chris Beard leaves, if you're Ole Miss, if you're Missouri, although Missouri's not going to turn over.
How about NC State?
Or Texas.
Texas would be the one for him.
Yeah.
High profile.
Yes.
Let him do anything he wants for 5 years. A high profile.
Yeah.
That would be the one if Texas doesn't make a run here, because they barely got in. The only comp I could give you quickly off the top of my head with regard to Pitino and that career you just talked about would be Larry Brown. Remember Larry Brown? He bounced around everywhere and he was successful and he took, Kansas and UCLA and 2 or 3 other ones, went into the NBA like Pitino, came out of it. They were kind of the same guy, weren't they?
Probably. And you can't tell me, Terry, Pitino wouldn't come to the SEC for 8 to 10 million a year?
Oh, in a heartbeat. in a heartbeat. Hey, I want to back up. I don't know if you watched it live, but man, I didn't see this coming. It was so refreshing because when we call a spade for the other direction, we got to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like everybody. I'm watching Gator basketball, SEC championship game, 1 o'clock, goes to about 3:30. Golf is kind of in a rain delay, right? So golf comes back 5:15. So I turn over, see what's going on and how wet and blah, blah, blah. Well, 45 minutes later, it's 6 o'clock. Well, here comes the selection show. And I don't know if you noticed this. Did you watch it live? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Let me tell you what happened. And it was so refreshing. 6 o'clock hit. They throw it to the studio. And you're aware, Greg Gumbel passed away.
Yes.
So this was the second year, and he was the mainstay. He hosted that thing forever,
Sure
and
was.
then he hosted all the March Madness studio stuff. Well, he didn't do it last year because he was getting sick. He got replaced because he was sick. He passed in December, so obviously this is the first year he had passed.
Right.
So they come on, Adam Zucker and the crew, Kellogg and those guys. They come on at 6 o'clock. And they do, of course, a 2 or 3 minute remembrance about Greg Gumbel. Everybody has all the panel had something to say. It was 2 or 3 minutes, which it was supposed to be. They were supposed to lead the show off with that. Brent, I'm telling you, they didn't go to a commercial. They went, all right, let's take a look at the field. Boom. Next thing you know, Auburn's up there, and they went right into the South. And I'm telling you, that was a tight 1 hour show. It wasn't drug out. It wasn't fluff.
Right.
It was the most refreshing thing I've seen in a long time.
Listen, on that show, and I did see bits and pieces of it. I didn't see it play by play, but that's the smartest thing you do with that show. There's no drama necessary in that show. The drama is in the selections.
Yeah.
Because you got so many people waiting on the edge of their chair to be selected in this thing. Now, you probably remember this. They did, the best thing they did was they've left the NBA guys off of the selection show.
Yeah.
The NBA guys have no clue about these teams right now.
Yeah, and they'll get back into it once the tournament starts. But they used to throw Bark and those guys up there, and you're like, man, they're busy enough. They pulled out a magazine about 4 days ago.
Absolutely, they did.
Yes. And college basketball, it'll never get to this probably with this tournament, but it needs to go where I always scream college football needs to go. You got to get rid of the committees. All in all, wouldn't it be nice if you just had, the requisite amount of legitimate conferences, the winners, a couple of them, the top three of all 9 conferences or what, the committee issue is what big time sports don't get voted on who gets in.
Yeah,
you win your way in. You know what I mean? You win your way into the NBA. You win your way into the NFL.
Now explain this to me, okay, real quick. Okay, well, we just talked about Auburn with 16 quad 1 wins. Okay, I get that. Terry, how the dickens is North Carolina in the field with what was it, 1-12?
1-12.
Won games.
And at the bottom, I've got Bubba Cunningham, who is the chairman this year of the selection committee, who's the sitting athletic director at North Carolina. And of course, last night he immediately, when I had to recuse myself and walk out of the. Well, that's great. That's great. As you get up, we're going to talk about North Carolina, Mr. Chairman. And AD at North, you have to go out of the room. But the entire room knows that the AD is the chairman of North Carolina.
And listen, Terry, don't think for a minute that Cunningham during that those guys have probably been together since about Thursday, and don't think for a minute Cunningham hasn't given his opinion off the air that North Carolina ought to be in that, because if he hadn't. If they hadn't, that they ought to get rid of him. But look, they put them in, and they don't put West Virginia in. And West Virginia had
was terrible.
Virginia had a much bigger argument, frankly, than probably anybody else. And by the way, I don't think you need to go this far, but did you see today where the governor of West Virginia wants to sue the NCAA to get them in?
Oh, come on, Gov, you got more stuff to do, buddy.
Really?
Your state's economy is about 5th from the bottom, Gov.
And listen, I'm going to mention this because this. I thought of you when I saw this. People hadn't heard this, and we're talking about the NIT, and the NIT is a different animal. There's not a whole lot to it now, but here's the reality. The NCAA, this was made for you and me. The NCAA tells South Alabama they're in the NIT. Well, an hour later, someone from the NCAA calls South Alabama and says, well, we don't have room for you guys now. Now, Terry, tell me this. And we've said this for years in all sports. Why doesn't the NCAA ought to have my stories that they could call you and me. The NCAA really ought to have a director of common sense,
Yes.
somebody that before they make a decision public, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this, that they could call and say, well, if we jerk this out from their hands, might it make us look bad on Monday after we told them they're in on Sunday night? Terry,
Never mind.
Please take that. Terry, please take that and run with that for just a minute. Tell me how foolish that is.
That's the old never mind, you know. Hey,
Yeah.
you're in.
No.
Hey, listen, remember that? I said you could never mind. Well, I got something that rivals that, and it came out today. I read it 2 hours ago. University of California, Riverside, a day or two ago, accepted 2 bids to 2 different tournaments.
Lord.
UC Riverside somehow they got invited. What is it? The NIT and the CBI, and they accepted both of them.
Yeah, right. And Terry, there's another one this year. Have you seen that? I forgot what the name of it is, but they decided they put another one out there. And see, what people don't realize is, and with the CBI and some of these other lesser tournaments, you actually, Terry, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you actually have to pay your way in.
Yeah, I think one of those little tournaments you pay to get in the damn thing. I think JU did that a few years ago.
Yeah, I think that's a CBI if I'm not mistaken.
Hey guys, good news is we made postseason basketball.
Yeah.
Bad news is it cost us $25,000 entry fee.
But Terry, tell me how in the world there's not somebody in that NCAA organization that before they make decisions like that would be smart enough to look at that and say, guys, if we do this, we need to bite the bullet, because if we do it, it's going to be a public relations nightmare. We're going to be made fun of the whole week.
Yeah, definitely. Real quick, before we take a break, we'll then maybe see if you've got some notes about college football on the other side. Getting back to what you said a moment ago, it made me laugh. Bubba Cunningham, the sitting acting athletic director at North Carolina, and he's this year's chairman. And of course, when North Carolina came up yesterday on the show, well, he jumped to you. I recuse myself. I have to leave the room. And you mentioned a moment ago, they've been together for weeks at a time,
sure.
right? So are you telling me over beer, over whatever, that they don't talk out in the right? Over golf or whatever, like that's like trying to believe that a sequestered jury really doesn't talk about the case. I mean, they may not scream, absolutely. But of course, somebody's going to go, "How are you leaning?" Or I think he's guilty. I know we're not supposed to. Because we want to get out of here. What do you think? Oh no, he's not guilty. It's going to be a hung.
No, listen. We may need to finish. We may need to complete this after we take a break. But I want to throw this out here to your point a minute ago about the committee. Okay, overall, Terry, these are pretty intelligent people. Tell me they can't come up with a seeding like the college football playoff does and actually slot these teams from the seeding, and involved in the seeding. You've got what? You've got quad one games. You've got the net. You've got all this stuff that they use. And if you did, Terry, wouldn't that make more sense? Yeah. Frankly, to slot these teams?
College,
do that?
As we break, college basketball has gotten a little too far. There's too much quad one, quad two, quad three, net one, net two. You know what they also need a good splash of? The eyeball test.
Correct.
Right? That's got to be it's gotten a little too quad one, quad two, quad three for me.
Well, if you go by the eyeball test, isn't Florida the best team in the nation right now?
Right now, they absolutely are. Let's take a break. Keep Brett Beard around another segment as we start putting the landing gear down on a Monday edition. Brent, I know you got some college football news and notes as basketball's the one time basketball really kind of takes over in the college ranks is March Madness, and we love it. Brett Beard sticking around.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jacks app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jacks Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, back we are, the Young Norevlle Show right here on Action Sports Jacks. Brent Beard, we're going to transition into a little college football, if we may. I know it's a tough time to work in some college football. I know you got some news and notes, Brent. I want to bring up one thing about DJ Lagway, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. What I'm going to bring up, several of things, are wonderful actions he's doing or causes. But am I the only guy that seems like, gosh darn, Lagway, he seems like right now there's a lot of red carpet events and TMZ in a good way. There's a lot of stuff going on with DJ Lagway, and not all of it or not enough of it for me is football. He's doing a lot of good causes and foundations and this and that, and I get it's the off season. I get all this, but I wouldn't mind more football from Lagway and less red carpet from Lagway. Does that make any sense? I know I'm kidding around a little bit, but
well, you remember in the Rocky movies when Rocky was so tough and he ate the raw eggs and mixed chickens and all that on the first two, and then you get the third one with Clubber Lang, and you get
fat and happy.
Yes, and we're not saying necessarily that Lagway is doing that.
But you remember that, Brent? You remember that first scene? I think it was in that movie you're referencing, Rocky, he pulls it. He's in a Ferrari.
Yeah,
right?
at least. Yeah.
Into his driveway, this mansion, gets out, and there's like a robot that comes over and hands him a beer when he opens his front door. And yeah, he kind of lost his edge a little bit. I want more football out of Lagway, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes.
And you might could say the same thing about Carson Beck, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
A little less red carpet and a little more football, my man.
Well, now has it? We're a little TMZ-ish on here. Is he and the girlfriend still dating Terry, or is that all? Does Zach know that? I don't know.
Word is it's Splitsville for those two.
Oh my!
And I don't know how true this is, but this can't be true. But there's something floating out there that Miami Hurricane officials may have gone to the girl and said, "Hey, can you keep this up here until he gets settled down here in Coral Gables?"
Oh man. Those behind the scene things that we'll never know, correct?
Yeah, yes, you're right. So college football is a little choppy right now, the way schools put their calendar of the spring together. Some want to go early, some want to go during spring break, some want to go after, a combination. I know it's chopped up, it's hard to say, but kind of where are we? Any major things we need to be aware of?
Yeah, well, let me talk about this the spring game situation as we did a few minutes ago. For one thing, FSU, if folks didn't hear this earlier, they have decided that in their 15 practices, only one of them is going to be open to the media. Yeah. Here's the problem with this: when you do that, it's like a friend of mine who was Alabama beat writer. Coach Nick Saban told him one day, said, or the SID told him one day, we don't like all this speculation that you're doing. And his reply was, well, if y'all were more transparent, I don't have to speculate all the time.
Oh, nice.
And Terry, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
I know he's not telling us everything, but you alluded to Todd Golden a few minutes ago. I think that's part of the thing that's refreshing about Todd Golden is,
I agree,
is he's pretty transparent about all this stuff.
I agree. It's almost a little bit like the NFL and the gambling and the and the reports. You got to tell. We want you to tell everybody who's injured or who might not play. Getting back to the premise though, with a lot of the coaches, and it's killing the spring games. Wait a minute, we're just putting our players out there for everybody to scout and see who they want to come poach off of our roster. Okay, well, I can live with that. On the you may lose a couple players if everything's open. What about this absolute opposite? How about, Coach, when you need a left tackle and you need a cover cornerback, wouldn't you like to have easy access to see who's out there? Yeah. Because don't tell me you're above the law. You're going to go poach too,
Well, Terry, it's like somebody told me the other day that they said what people don't realize sometimes here is they've got these IT specialists who can find tape of guys.
Sure.
Because tape is everywhere.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand that. And sometimes you just got to be able to find the place. You need to know how to look.
Yeah.
And they can find this. So you can cancel all these spring games you want. But if people want to know about your players, that they can find it. This is just being paranoid. And again, and we'll say this throughout the off season here, is if you want to deal with this, go to the appropriate committees, and it starts with the coaching. This basically this group of coaches. You join this and you're represented within the NCAA. You need to go to that group and say, look, move this portal off of April and put it on either on another month or get rid of it altogether and just have one portal in December. And by doing that, everybody's not as paranoid as they are in April. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense, and it's coming. Just like, we always, the broken record, it's going to take a few more years to iron this out. And then, contracts for players, their employees. That's how it works in the NFL. The only thing that I always go back to is you hear so many fans are out there going, "This is terrible. They got to fix it. It's the wild, wild west." Yeah. Well, my first comeback's always, well, give it some time. It's been a few years, and I'll say this to these. I'll go, the NFL didn't just come out spit shine perfect. How to handle free agency, how to handle the draft, how to handle salary cap. It took the NFL decades. Yeah. The NFL didn't just roll this out. You know how many times they changed free agency rules and draft rules and salary cap? It takes time. The NFL is a spit shine perfect example now of those topics. It took decades to get where they're at right now. They trial and error, and they missed on things, and they hit on things, and they melded things together. You got to give it a little time, folks.
Well, the thing we're hearing now is the $20 million for each school is coming down either this summer and look, summer's like 3 or 4 months away, or next summer at the latest. So that's going to mean they've got 20 more million for each school and to be able to divide it up. And as you and I've talked before, the majority of that's going to football. Not everybody's going to like that, but again, you've got to get your football situation in top condition, and that bleeds down to your other sports. So that's where this thing is going to go. But at this point, the best thing we can have, Terry, would be to have the contracts. Someone told me the other day, and this is baseball, but you'll get the point with this, that they said that they're talking about their school and their NIL. Said their NIL for the baseball team was like $300,000.
Yeah, and it should be.
And they've got a hot shot major league prospect under that $300,000. He's getting $250,000.
Sure. I get it. I want to go back to the poaching. The spring games getting eliminated because of the poaching, it looks like. And you know me, I stand up for the players a lot. I mean, a lot. I tell people that say the portal's terrible, this is terrible, the transferring and the getting them paid is terrible. And I'll go, you know what entity loves it? They're called the players. They should be the first consideration. With regard to these coaches killing spring games because we don't want to show off our players because we don't want to get poached. What do you think the players would want? If they said, players, you decide, do your spring games get televised or not? The player would go, hell yeah, I want it. I want people to see, because that gives me options. That gives me options if I need them. But no, the player always seems to get, the best for the player always seems to get pushed at the bottom. The players, they would vote to have their game. Of course. Let every coach in America see me. That doesn't mean I'm not happy and I'm not going to stay. But, hell, I want Michigan's coach to see me if they might need a left tackle.
And look, there's some of these guys, even if they stay at the school, that spring game is the one game where they may actually win an award. Listen, there have been a lot of spring teams. A guy would win the most valuable player and barely play in the fall. But that still would be meaningful to him and his family.
Or some coaching staff is watching some school play their spring game, and they're charting and they're scouting, and they go, damn, that little fourth receiver, number 74, 84, who is he? You dig him up and you go, he's buried on their depth chart. He's probably never going to play. Well, just by being exposed, that guy may go to Southern Miss and have a nice career. Whereas if his spring game wasn't televised, he'd be, as I say all the time, dying on the vine. There's a lot of players that die. The portal has helped tens of thousands of players not die on the vine.
Right. And see, the only thing when people talk about in the portal or all the people that kind of get in there and get in purgatory and they get lost. Well, we all get that. But to Terry's point, there has been some positive things out of the portal. is because a lot of these guys have gone to a lower division school. I'm not saying they've been stars, but they at least had a steady career that they could do something with. And if they want to go to the next level, the NFL will find them. But we'll take him. But again, go deal with the legislation to make the changes, get it out of April, and there'll be a lot less to worry about.
And I know we're talking college football, but portal, let me take it to the sport we're in right now. Mm-hmm. And I bet you, I could find you thousands of Gator football fans. Mm-hmm. I'm just using the Gators, but they're playing right now. Gator football fans, man, this portal thing in football, man, I don't like. Well, but do you like the fact that 4 of your 5 starting 5 that might win a basketball national title?
Yeah.
Clayton, portal.
Mm-hmm.
Martin, portal.
Yeah.
Richard, portal.
Mm-hmm.
Chinyalu, portal.
Yeah.
Condon was a recruit. They would hate the portal in one sport and love it. They're cheering with their pom-poms because, damn, these 4 portal guys, they're my Gators. They're my Gators.
And by the way, Terry, all those guys did not come from the top 10, did they?
No. What if Todd Golden could not see and couldn't see anything that Clayton, Martin, Richard, or Chinyalu did? Mm-hmm. Throwing a dart on a board?
Yeah.
To get them in? I don't know.
Well, look, the thing Florida needs more credit for is how they develop these kids. It's one thing to bring them in, but you got to develop
basketball. Yeah.
Yes, and particularly when you look at guys like Condon, I have yet. Maybe you can think of this. I don't remember a team having this many bigs who are as versatile and can block shots, can hit threes, can rebound, and get on the floor and get loose balls than I have this Florida team. Do you?
I tell you, they are as deep. I can't, man. Maybe some of the, and this is more of a style deep, some of the really 40 Minutes of Hell Arkansas and Kentucky type teams.
Good point.
Well, but that's more of a wind thing. They sacrifice talent to run a couple guys in to give a couple guys a blow. This team, and now you got to win it all, or it's just a footnote. But this team, they're 5 bigs. They do things different, but you don't really lose any talent on the floor. Whatever combination of the 5 bigs are on the floor. Same with the 5 guards and front court guys. Well, no, I'm sorry, backcourt guys.
Has Florida had anywhere close to this complete of a team, top to bottom, since Donovan was there and won back-to-back?
It had to be that back-to-back. I mean, they pulled, Chris Richard and I always forget Adrian Moss back up set. They pulled. They had a 3-man big man rotation that was really good. Mm-hmm. Horford, Joakim Noah, Al Horford, and Chris Richard was a really good player, drafted in the NBA. But that was a 3-man rotation. None of those guys shot the ball. Yeah. Like how can they've got a 5-man, you don't lose much at all rotation.
Right. You really don't.
Right now. And the backcourt. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Torian Green, Corey Brewer was the swing guy, and then Lee Humphrey was the Lee Humphrey was the sharpshooter. Green could fill it up as well. Corey Brewer could get hot, and that's about it. This damn team. I think every time Clayton, Martin, Richard, and I'm leaning now on Houck. Every time they throw up a 3-pointer going in, it feels like it's going in.
Well, Houck doesn't get enough credit, frankly, for what he's done. And how he brought that group together too, and how he has fit in. I mean, this is just I'm not going to say it's once in generation team necessarily, but because Golden really has some promise here. But and I tell you another thing too. There are some teams, and again, we don't know the inner workings of this, and it's really none of our business. But you think about this a minute. There's some ADs who would have bailed on Golden and maybe sent him packing when all this came out, instead of letting the it work itself through. And look, Florida has smart people over there. They had to know, Terry, that and matter of fact, you and I said this to each other. There's a reason they weren't firing him after all this came out. They knew there was enough there on their side that they would be okay. But you got to give somebody credit over there for not panicking in this situation and keeping going, because I think they thought that they really have found a diamond in the rough, and that they have.
I agree. And it's not like they kept Golden because Golden's got 3 championships on his waist, in his lap. He's yet to win a tournament game at Florida or as a coach. I don't think they won one at San Fran. I want to make a bold prediction before we get out of here with Brent Beard here on a Monday, the Young Norevlle Show. Tomorrow, of course, we'll be back in Mandarin at Hurricane in Georgia Creek. And by the way, a week from tomorrow, it looks like we're going from the bar at the arena before Florida State baseball. I'm going to make this prediction. Sunday, right? Florida plays Friday if they beat Norfolk. If they beat Norfolk, they will play the winner on Sunday. Their Friday, Sunday of Oklahoma and UConn. I'm going to make this prediction now. You heard it here.
Yeah.
If UConn beats Oklahoma and they move on to face Florida, I think somewhere quasi getting late in the second half, Florida will be bludgeoning physically, beating up UConn with that team of theirs so bad. I think Danny Hurley will get ejected from the basketball game. I'm on record. He will pop a gasket. He will know that the 2 back-to-back reign is over, and he will lose it with about 8:24 remaining in the game as Florida. And, Florida's good about the second half. They start grinding on you, and they go big on you, and they play bully ball. Danny Hurley, what do you think of that? I think Danny Hurley gets ejected in the second half.
Well, I've said this many times that we probably could be triplets along with Brother Brett. Because when you started to talk about that, that's the first thing that came to mind. What was Hurley doing something outlandish to get tossed from the game because he didn't want to deal with it along that line. Listen, you can't, Terry, you can't tell me, and they'll never admit it. Although I wonder if this crew might, that this game means a little extra to them because of Hurley.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, Brent. We've got 3 minutes left. A long time to talk about this, but I wanted to hit Pat and I kicked it around. I've been talking about how at least 3 or 4 times the SEC is going to end up cannibalizing themselves in this tournament and eliminating a fellow SEC. You realize, and just bouncing around. If Vanderbilt wins their first game, if Alabama wins their first, they'll play. They'll play. They'll cannibalize. That's guaranteed. If Florida wins their first game, and Oklahoma was to upset, it's a 9-8, Florida and Oklahoma would play. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of, if Tennessee was to, they're a 2 seed. If Tennessee wins 2 games, and
play
Kentucky 3 seed, if they win 2 games, they're playing in the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
I mean, it could happen. Did you hear the stat? Somebody ran the numbers, and this is silly, but it's kind of fun with the numbers. 14 teams from the SEC. If everything went perfect for the conference, and of course they would lose some head-to-head.
Sure.
Right? They'd cannibalize. Sure. But if everything played out perfect, the SEC would have 9 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams in it.
That would be incredible to have 50% of them. Now, but realistically, before we run out of time here, I mean, Terry, we don't need to have, for SEC fans, 4 teams in the Sweet 16. They need to double that at least, don't they, for the league?
Ooh, you think it? 4 has happened quite a bit. You're a quarter of the standing.
Well,
Get 5 or 6. I think would be very impressive.
At least, yes.
Patrick said he was on this morning with the fellas on the SEC Network, and they asked him what defines the SEC having a successful year and the best ever. I said somebody's got to win it. I don't care if it's three Final Fours.
Yes.
Are you in that camp? Did the SEC really, to finish off this greatest conference ever, one of the big boys got to win the damn thing?
I do think there will be 2 SEC teams that will be in the Final Four, and we may have an all-SEC championship game.
Wow, would that be something?
It really would.
Would that be something? All right, Brent, we didn't have time. Boy, Florida baseball took it on the chin. Their bullpen was miserable. How about this? Florida, how does this happen? Florida loses 3 to the defending national champion, Tennessee Vols, in Knoxville.
Yeah.
They were trailing in the 7th inning, 1-0. And in the 7th inning, they got run ruled. Game was over 10-0.
Good night.
So their starters got them into the 7th inning down 1-0. Yeah. They end up getting run ruled by giving up 9, and they got walked off, run ruled. Their bullpen's killing them right now.
Well, oh, yeah. And by the way, the FSU Florida next Tuesday is already sold out.
Is that right? Yeah,
yes.
I heard those tickets. I also heard, and we got 30 seconds, I also heard a couple of buddies were calling me about going to the game, and they said, dude, the secondary market has bought just about every ticket. And some of those tickets are floating for $200. A college regular season midweek baseball. The government really does need to get involved, and they're talking about doing it. You can't have the secondary market buy everything.
No, you can't.
And then just play. It's a numbers. I don't know. I don't think so. All right, Brant, good stuff as always. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll visit as the week unfolds. I know you got some personal stuff. I appreciate your time, my friend.
Good. Thanks, bud. Enjoyed it.
That's our buddy Brent Beard. That'll wrap it up. We'll get together again tomorrow. Hope you can join us 4 to 6 for the next edition of the Young Norevlle Show.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.